world was not ready. Missiles were prepared. Armies were on alert. One wrong decision, and World War III could have begun. But history took a different turn. Many people think World War III never came close. But history tells a different story. There was a moment when global powers stood right at the edge of a massive, devastating war. This is the incredible story of a forgotten crisis that almost changed the world forever. During the Cold War, the world was split into two powerful blocs, led by the United States and the Soviet Union. Trust was at an all-time low, and fear was dangerously high. The main language of diplomacy wasn't words, it was military strength, too. Every move was watched with suspicion, every action analyzed for a hidden threat. Both sides had amassed enormous arsenals, capable of destroying the entire planet multiple times over. In this incredibly tense environment, a single spark could ignite a global firestorm. And that spark was about to be lit. The crisis began with a sudden international incident that sent alarms blaring on both sides. League military units were immediately placed on the highest alert levels. Communication lines, already strained, became even more limited. Rumors and misinformation spread like wildfire, much faster than the actual facts. Leaders on both sides were trapped in a dangerous game of guesswork, each fearing that the other might launch a preemptive strike. The atmosphere was thick with paranoia, and the doomsday clock was ticking closer to midnight than ever before. The world was holding its breath, completely unaware of the danger it was in. For several agonizing days, the situation remained extremely tense. Elite troops were deployed to their forward positions, ready for combat. Strategic weapon systems were activated and aimed. Fighter jets patrolled the skies, and submarines silently moved into attack positions. The world waited in a deafening silence. The fate of billions rested on the shoulders of a handful of decision-makers. States. In this high-stakes standoff, even a small misunderstanding, a technical glitch, or a misinterpreted signal could have been the trigger for an unstoppable large-scale conflict. It was a terrifying game of nuclear chicken, and neither side was blinking. But while the public saw only strong statements and military posturing, a different story was unfolding behind the scenes. Secret, private communication channels were opened. Coded messages were exchanged, desperately trying to cut through the fog of war. Warnings were clarified, and intentions were explained. Slowly, painstakingly, a fragile thread of trust began to form in the shadows. Diplomacy started to work where the threat of force had failed. Leaders, on both sides, realized that they were staring into the abyss, and that pulling back was the only sane option. Quiet conversations began to pull the world back from the brink. Eventually, the relentless diplomatic efforts paid off. Tensions began to ease. Military alerts were cautiously lowered, and troops were ordered to stand down. The crisis finally ended, not with a bang, but with a quiet, collective sigh of relief. Most people around the globe went about their daily lives, never realizing how close their world had come to a global catastrophe. It was a silent victory for humanity, one not on the battlefield, but in the quiet rooms where communication and restraint prevailed over aggression. This forgotten crisis serves as a powerful reminder that peace is often saved quietly. It's not always secured by powerful weapons or grand armies, but by the difficult, patient work of communication, understanding, and a shared will to avoid disaster. History teaches us that the future is not set in stone, and that it can change in just a few critical moments. If you found this story informative, like the video and subscribe for more true stories from history. Thanks for watching.